Welcome to our second recording.
What's going on?
Well, today we're going to talk about communication in a marriage, and it'll probably lead into other topics, but that's why we do what we do.
Well, for you, from a woman's perspective, been married for a long time, what do you find that some women consider the big issue, whether it's lack of communicating from their man or not?
There's so many different things, but just right off the top, misunderstanding and lack of taking the time to understand, which leads into misunderstandings. Sometimes we think we know. I can't really speak on everyone out there or all the other females, but I just know for me, for the first part of my marriage, the learning experience was having patience to understand myself, and then patience to give my husband, you, the chance to speak, to not interrupt, to give you the floor, to know when to talk, to know when to listen. It's communication is not just one thing. It's talking, it's listening, it's doing it all with respect, with love. And I know sometimes along the way emotions cause us to say things that we shouldn't say, or say it in a way that can come off a certain way. So it's very complex in the beginning, but once you start to break it down, and again with patience and love and respect, when you break it down, it gets to a point to where now I feel like it's easy. We've spent the years together, going back and forth, talking, helping each other,
I,
doing whatever we
See,
have.
I found out, well, for me, and I could say a lot of men, can't give a percentage, but a lot of men just want to vent out their feelings in a marriage. If they going through something, their wife doesn't do something. A lot of guys just want to just vent out and know that their wife is accepting and cool towards that. You know what I mean? Like they
Mm-hmm.
don't want to just feel like it's just their spouse, girlfriend, whatever. It's just tone deaf to the thing. So,
Right.
and especially if the guy can not be disrespectful and saying how he feels about something,
Right.
that can go a long way if there's compromise, if there's some kind of compromise and middle ground that the husband and the wife meet in, it should go good. I mean, it's a learning experience.
Well, before you even jump into it, you have to make sure, number one, you're ready for marriage and that you marry the right person. For me, I knew in my heart that I married the right person. I just believe I was a little young, but that's not to be said as an excuse. It's all learning experience. How did I learn to grow, and how can others be, helped as well? So being young was okay because I chose the right person, and all the imperfections and mistakes and errors and all that is okay. That the reason why that becomes okay is because you choose the right person. Imagine if you choose the wrong person, and just somebody not right for you, and then you go to do what you said, just vent out. Well, if a guy's gonna vent out, if he married the wrong person, she may be disrespectful. She may not be free. She may not be down to earth. She may not understand, well, why is he venting out like this? Why has he got to use cuss words when, some women understand that if a man marries the right woman, he can.
I believe a guy should be allowed to do that only if it's not disrespectful towards his wife or his girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that there's nothing wrong with yelling if it's not directed towards his wife or his girlfriend, and whomever it may be. But I think that that's okay as a man. I'm not saying that that's some kind of blueprint
Mhm.
and that's every guy that does that, but I don't see nothing wrong with a guy being passionately, letting his feelings out to let
Right.
it know how he feels towards, like I said, something his wife does or doesn't do. But if it's to the point where it's disrespectful towards
Mhm.
her, then no, it's not gonna go good. And it's like I always said, you know who you married. You know who you married. You A lot of people just seem like, I didn't know my husband, I didn't know my wife does this or that. You kind of know. It's just that you don't want to believe it. You want to give it more time, it seems. But ultimately, you know exactly who you married, and you're rolling the dice with that. That's why, to sound old fashioned, I guess, court each other,
Right.
spend time with each other, as opposed to just the shallow qualities that you like the person for.
Yeah.
But you ultimately know what you married. If that's not true, that why is the divorce rate so high?
Right. You know what you did know what you married, and you also have to give yourself a chance to understand yourself. And from my perspective, getting married gave me a chance to understand more of who I was and am, while understanding you and who you were and are and who you will continue to grow into be. And again, with choosing the right person, you have to know that if you married the right person, that okay, then women can have mood swings as well. You know, we can have our moments where, man, I'm just having one of these days. I just need to just maybe scream, cry, you know, whatever a woman needs to do. But marrying the right person gives both partners an opportunity to express themselves to the fullest, and have that other person not judge them, because you can easily get with somebody, and this can also be reference to friendship. You can be friends with somebody and then you start venting, and you don't, if a person understands you and they know, man, this person's not going to disrespect me, they're just venting, they're you know, they look mad but they're not mad at me because they're talking about something specific. And that, I think that should just go both ways, you know. But as far as if there's an issue that you have with that person, friend or spouse, you should be able to be honest without that person feeling, you know, some kind of way.
Shouldn't be disrespectful, but you should be honest.
Honest. Always be
Right.
honest, because how can you look at the person and not be honest, and then let that you know, build in animosity and hostility and then awkwardness, to where the person's thinking everything's okay and they want to come around you and hug you, and you kind of like not really showing the same intimate, you know, response. They're gonna wonder, well, darn, what's going on? And when the person could have just easily said, hey, this is what bothers me about you, and then that person is given the opportunity to work on that. And that's how you empower each other, by not being quiet and silent about
Right.
issues. Challenge the other person,
Mm-hmm.
and don't get with someone who's not going to challenge you, because if they're not going to challenge you, of course they're not going to challenge
Which is
themselves.
why I believe divorces are at an all-time high.
That's it.
Hell, if people didn't get married and they was in relationships, well, relationships breaking up are the all-time high, just like marriages. So it really
Right.
don't make a difference. The
Right.
issue is still, you know what you married. It's just that you got tired,
Yeah.
you got fed up, your tolerance reached its peak. Like, that's it.
Yeah, and some people marry for the wrong reason. Like they know what they married, but they also were in a rush. Maybe they thought their biological clock was ticking, and that can be male or female. Sometimes we just get old, life almost passes us by, and we look at it like, oh man, well, the next person that's going to be available and has at least a couple of things that I need and want, I'm going to go ahead and go for it. And they overlook all the other important things. And then you come across problems in the household, which is a completely, you know, different thing, but it stems from communication.